Wow, well that was an emotional day. What's up guys, Freeman here, welcome back to another video. So, I apologise for the silence. I kind of fell off the rails. I'm not going to go silent like I used to. This is on my diet, by the way. I managed to keep NoFap because I'm not relapsing like that. I need to make a video on that, how things have changed and my relationship to porn and stuff. But I kind of fell off the rails recently in terms of my diet. Basically, I was on a juice fast and I decided to start eating again. But what I didn't realize is that I hadn't done it properly. So I started eating and I couldn't stop. And I should talk a bit quietly because it's quite late basically. I started eating and I couldn't stop. And eventually I was eating all the foods that I shouldn't have eaten, and I feel really bloated and tired, and my brain, tomorrow's going to be hell. But it made me really think about what I was doing, because I was on a juice fast at that point, probably about nearly day 80. And I realized that I hadn't really been doing it properly. And I've been sort of fooling myself in the process, because I'd always looked at my juice fast as a way of just cleansing out my system, and I had this idea in my head that once I'm clean I can really go out to the world and just live without illness. But I realized that I was using it for the wrong reasons. I was trying to get perfect first before I went out into the world, and what I didn't realize was that I was constantly spiking myself with foods and supplements and stuff that was keeping the problem going. More specifically, because I know there's a lot of health people listening, I was doing like different cleanses and stuff, but I was constantly feeding toxins in my system that I didn't need to, which kept the issues going. More specifically, my first month of doing juice fast, I was still having pasteurized dairy. Then after that I was smoking occasionally, then after that I was vaping, and I never really worked up the emotional courage to be able to get rid of something like that. Now what I realized is that if I had done that originally, I wouldn't have had to do the months. But it just goes back to the emotional reason, is that I need people. Here he comes. He's come to ruin my videos once again. Can't get enough, can you? Say hi, Sammy. Say hi. No, I'm at my parents' house, unfortunately. But the bottom line is that I've been living in an environment whereby I need to be more in the company of people who encourage me, basically. I shut myself off because I was so sick that even maintaining a simple, even my friendships were hard to maintain. I was an alcoholic. I used lots of drugs and substances to just keep me going. So I shut myself off. The only problem is that I shut myself in with the very people who constantly would grind me down on a daily basis. And because of that, I was constantly spiking myself and having all sorts of stuff that would keep the problem going. Now, I have a lot of shame. I don't know why I shouldn't talk about this around the actual issues that I'm dealing with, mainly for stupid reasons, because I'm afraid of what people think. Stupid reasons, because I advise people on these very things. I have a parasite issue, and the problem is that I was constantly feeding these parasites, these food, pasteurized dairy, cigarettes, propylene glycerol from the vaping, and it was keeping me in this state whereby I would keep experiencing the same symptoms. Now, don't get me wrong, the juice fast was amazing. I feel absolutely great. I still feel great, although I've relapsed on the eating. I'm eating the wrong foods. It's no way. I can feel the improvement. Like, tomorrow is going to be a bit difficult, but after 48 hours, I'll be fine. But it just really drove home the fact that I was fooling myself, really. And the moment I quit vaping, it all unraveled, because vaping was giving me that emotional release. And when I quit vaping, that emotional release wasn't there, because it wasn't replaced with people. And what happened was I just self-destructed, and I started eating and I couldn't stop. Now, arguably, if I had actually listened to my intuition, which told me that I should have kept going through the last of the fast, because quitting the vaping actually kick-started the actual cleanse, and I was no longer having it. So I was feeling great, I was having massive improvements, but the emotional issues would come up, and because I wasn't aware of them, and I was so headstrong, I let it get to me. And now I've been literally eating everything. I've been eating chocolate, I've been eating all sorts of crap that I shouldn't have. I don't feel as bad as before though, which is great. I know that it'll be fine, but it just drove home the lesson that, like, we have to meet our needs. We have to meet our needs. You know, we have to deal with the stuff that we haven't really dealt with, and we can't be too headstrong in one direction, which is what I did. And now that NoFap is over, I'm going to be shifting focus to just this, to just being more vulnerable and getting out my emotions and getting out what I'm thinking about, and really just tackling the problem once and for all, because I don't see myself going back into an old binge pattern. And yes, I relapsed on NoVape. I've had a couple cigarettes, but again, it just goes back to the unresolved emotions. But now that I've uncovered it, I know that I can actually properly do the juice fast and deal with the emotional issues behind it, because cleansing is, you know, people love thinking that, oh, if I just do one diet, take one pill or whatever, but it's more than that. When you heal physically, you heal emotionally. When you heal emotionally, you heal spiritually. And if you neglect one, you're going to be like a rubber band bouncing right back to where you are before. So it doesn't matter how good you feel. Maybe you've quit alcohol, and I'm sorry if there's a light, because I've just had to record this outside. You know, you got to deal with it. Like, it doesn't matter if you feel good, if some specific issue is gone. If you really want to be free and healthy and feel amazing, you have to deal with the underlying issues. Why do you always reach for the bottle? Why do you have this addiction to cheese? Why do you have this addiction to an unhealthy relationship? Why do you have these addictions? Not just, I want them gone. Not just, I want them gone. It's why, what's the reason? What's the lesson? What's the underlying thing? Because we spend most of our lives living on emotional life support. And I thought that I'd gotten over it, but I hadn't. I hadn't gotten over it. I was still on emotional life support. And I locked myself away still. You know, ultimately, like, I need to incorporate more people in my life that will listen and understand and just generally encourage me. Now, thank you guys so much for all the encouragement. Like, thank you. You guys really helped me. Just holding YouTube channel really put me on a different emotional level. But I need to stop neglecting my friends. I need to stop neglecting relationships. I need to stop neglecting it, because I'm waiting for this final moment whereby these issues that I experience, more specifically, it's an issue whereby my digestion is ruined. I cleansed out most of my system. It's literally just a couple of bugs that I need to get out. And but like, I realize that they're not bad. They're not bad. They're there for a reason. And they're there because I can't fully give up my vices. I can't, as long as I stay in this mindset. So I'm going to be relaunching my videos again, but it's going to be a bit slow, and I'm just going to do no juice, and I'm going to do juice fast for 2 weeks and no vape for 2 weeks. But there's going to be a heavy emotional focus, and I'm going to do work outside to try and get myself back into that people-focused mindset and stop trying to think that I can do this all by myself, because I can't. You know, I can't, you know. I mean, you know, I can't. I mean, even when my system is totally cleansed, I remember this happened once, whereby I felt so amazing. I felt like God on earth. And do you want to get up? I'd pick him up, but he's really bloody annoying. I felt amazing. But, you know, I felt hollow. Because I hadn't replaced that emotional need with something else. I'd gotten rid of the issue. I felt great. I had no physical ailments whatsoever. I felt like a demigod, like a bloody Primarch or whatever. But I was emotionally starved. You know, you have to meet your needs. Otherwise, you just be going around and around in circles. You know. Anyway, that's all I've got to say, because my stomach is... wow. You should see the size of my belly right now. And yeah, freeman out. Peace.